Good evening to one and all present here. I, Vikas Sharma, would like to welcome you all in another session of Numpy. So, this is our last class, Numpy, in which we are going to do core programming of Numpy. But before moving ahead, I would like to, start with what all we are going to discuss in today's agenda. So, let's discuss this. Okay. So, today in working with Numpy, we are going to cover up as per our agenda of discussion. What we are going to cover up, we are going to cover up a difference between arrange and line space method, basic operations on numpy array, that what basic operations we can apply on numpy array, because since long we are discussing that we can do scientific computing by using numpy array. So we are going to discuss that what basic operations we can apply on numpy array. Then thereafter we will be discussing universal functions on numpy array, that what all universal functions are available on numpy array, that is what we are going to discuss. Right after that we are going to do indexing, slicing and iterating. How can we retrieve value from a numpy array, and how can we just index the value, how can we access the value by using index and by using slicing method. So this is quite important point, indexing, slicing and iterating, on which we need to put more attention because it's quite logical as well. Then thereafter we'll be doing shape manipulation of a numpy array. As far as this shape manipulation is concerned, this deals with your stacking, that how can you just change the shape of a numpy array, like how can you create, if you want to transpose a 2D array, then how can you transpose that two-dimensional array. So we'll be doing shape manipulation in this. Then thereafter this stacking part, in stacking part we'll be discussing how can we merge two array, how can we merge more than one array, and what all methods of stacking are here available with us. Then thereafter we'll be discussing splitting one array into several smaller ones. Okay, so let's start with the topic presentation. Now, as per our agenda of discussion, let's discuss what is the difference between arrange and line space method. Here is a definition, that what is the word arrange means and what is the word this line space means. So let's understand how this arrange and line space function actually work, right? So while you will be understanding practically, you will be understanding it more clear, that how arrange function work and how line space method work. So for this, let's move to our ideally. In ideally, I have already imported our numpy library by the name np, in which what I am going to discuss, I'm just going to create an array by the name, and I am going to create an array by using arrange function, as we have discussed in previous slide, that how arrange function work. So I am creating an array by using arrange function. Now what all parameter for arrange functions are required? See, we need start, we need stop, and we need step. Start means from where you want to start your array. Say suppose if you don't want to pass start value, so it's optional. Okay, so it's optional. That means by default the start value is 0. But if you want to pass start value from some like if you want to start your array, the starting numbers of my array should be 10, and then stop, my array should get completed till 30, and step, I want to just pass on the step as 2. While I am going to print my array by using while I am executing this function, and I am printing my array A, so you can see the result will be, see, my array will be starting from 10 and going till 30. That means this 30 will never be included, and right after 2 steps every second value will come, like 10, and from 10 the second value is 12, then from 12 the second value is 14, then 16, then 18, then 20, 22, 24, 26 and 28, but not 30. because in arrange function this is the upper range which will never get included, and your numpy array is get created by using arrange function. If you want to see that is it a numpy array actually, so what you can do is you can just check the type and type of A, then you can see that this is a numpy array. I hope this must be clear to you all. Now talking about line space function. In the same way, I am just going to create an array by using line space. Please make sure it's line, L-I-N-S-P-A-C-E, not L-I-N-E-S-P-A-C-E. So please do take care of this function name. If you are going to mention it wrong, it will throw an error. So in this I am just passing the starting as 10 and this ending as 30, and I am passing that how many value should get present. Here I am passing that 20 value between or say 20 value should get present between this. What does it means? This means this will start creating an array from 10 and will go till how much? 30. Only 20 values will get presented between it. Now see the result. So I made this comment, so let's see. Okay, a np dot line space I need to mention, so a equals to np dot line space, and I'm just passing the values, and passing the values it should get started from 10 and will go to 30. That means 30 will also get included in line space method, but in arrange method this upper limit, the 30, was never get included. Okay, and I want to present all the value, like total 10 value between it. So it will give me all 10 values. While I'll be printing A, it will give me all 10 values which are equidistant from each other. Okay, will start from 10, and right after 10 it will give me total 10 value which are equidistant from each other. Now more or less I would like to make you understand this concept in this way. For example, you have created an array by the name A, and you are just passing the line space, space, and you want to start your array from 1 till 10. All the values should come, and total 10 value which are equidistant from each other should get presented. Just press enter, and now I am writing what print and what to print. I want to print A. See, it is giving me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 as result, and by default the data type of the array which is generated by line space method is of floating point. Okay, so as you can see, the first value of the array is this initial value. As you can see, it is 1, and the last value of my array is 10. Okay, but if you see the difference between each adjacent value, it is quite common. Right after 1, 2 is coming, then right after 2, 3 is coming, right after 3, your 4 is coming. That means each and every value is equidistant from each other, right? So an array of total 10 value will get generated by using line space method, because I have passed that how many values I want in my array. Okay, now let me tell you, just to make you understand more clearly, I would like to create another array by the name B, and B equals to, I want to create an array by using same method, line space, and in this I want to start my array with 1, and my array should get end till you say 2, and I want four values are lying between this 1 and 2. So all the values should be equidistant. So let's print what? B. While you will be printing B, it will be giving you what as a result? It will be giving you result as this 1.33, then 1.66, and then 2. If you talk about your array, like this 1.33 is equidistant from 1, and this 1.66 is equidistant from 1.33, and this 2 is equidistant from 1.667. Okay, so I hope you must be understanding that what is the difference between line space method and what is the difference between your arrange method. Your arrange method will return you an array without excluding the ending value, and it will return you an array by the mentioning step. Say suppose if you have given 2 as a step, so it will give you the possible array by taking the difference of 2. But if you talk about line space method, it will create an array with the defined digit. Like if you say suppose you mention you want 10 numbers between a set of number, it will provide you the numbers which are lying between that set of number, and all the number will be there in continuous fashion. They will be there in equidistant manner. It will not be like that the difference between 1 and 2 is 1, but 3 and 2 is coming as 2 or 3. Every number will be equidistant from each other. I hope this must be clear to you all. So let's move ahead to the next concept. If it is now, before moving ahead, I would like to give you few assignment questions. Please mention that write a method to print an array by using an array starting from 15 till 30 by step 3. Which function will get used over here? Very true. Arrange function will get used over here, and what will be the method? Let's see, equals to np dot arrange, and in this what you can do, you can just pass 15 is starting, and then 30 the ending one, and the step, what step you want, 3. And while you will be printing C, the result will be 15. 18 is 3 steps far away from 15, then 21 is 3 steps far away from 18, and then 24 is 3 steps again far away from 21, and so on. It will never exclude the last value. Please understand this. Please keep this thing in mind. But if in place of this you would have mentioned that create an array of 20 equidistant number between 15 and 20. So for this, which method I'll use? I'll use line space. And what is the method to write line space function? Let's C equals to and P dot line space, and in this I am just passing the starting. What is the starting? Starting is 15, ending is 20, and I want 20 equivalent number between this particular range. So just simply write print C. While I'll be I'm mentioning this print C, so it is giving me 20 equivalent number between 15 and 20, and all these numbers are presented in continuous fashion. I hope this must be clear to you all. Okay. Now, since long we are discussing that we can do mathematical scientific calculation by using this Numpy array, so let's understand what all sort of mathematical calculation we can do right by using Numpy array. So here I am importing a sub library from Numpy, that is from I'm just adding from Numpy. I am importing that pi function from Numpy import pi. Okay, so this pi function is completely imported. Now let's create an array by the name x, and in which I am just creating an array which should start from 0 and should go to 2 multiplied by pi, and I want all 100 values whatsoever are lying between this should get printed. So print, I want to print what? I want to print x. Okay, so it is giving me all values which are starting from 0 and going till 2 multiplied by pi. And if you remember what is the value of pi, it is 3.14. If I am going to print, that is what is the value of print pi. If I am gonna print pi, then this is going to this will give me the result, that is what, 3.141592, something like that. So this is resulting me what is the value of pi. Now by using line space method, what I have done, I have I have just find out all the possible values which are lying between 0 and 2 multiplied by pi. Now what is 2 multiplied by pi? Similarly, the 2 multiplied by pi will result you twice of the pi value. Okay, twice of the pi value. So it is giving you somewhat equivalent to 6.2831, right? So all 100 equidistant value are getting presented between 0 and 2 pi. 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so all these are 100 equidistant value which are getting presented between 0 and 2 pi. So far so good, clear? Now if I want to calculate the sign, that f equals to, you must have studied sine, cos, tan, cot, sec and cosec. So if I want to apply trigonometric function by using Numpy, so I can apply. Then that is what I can do is that f equals to np dot, I wanna just calculate that sine. I want to calculate sine. Okay, sine of what? I want to calculate sine of x, and right after this, if I am going to print what? F. If I am going to print f, it is going to give me the sine equivalent of all 100 values. So let's do the practical again. By using line space method, let's create another another variable named as x equals to np dot line space, and afterwards what I want to do is I want my array should start from 0 and will end till 30, and how many values I want between this. I want all 10 values. If I am going to print x, it will result me what all 10 values are lying between 0 to 30, and all the values will be equidistant from each other. And if I am going to calculate the sign equivalent, that is np dot sign of what? Np dot sign of x. So this will give me the sign equivalent of all the values. So sign 0 is 0, as you already know, and your sign 30, accordingly your value of sine curve is created in radiant. Okay, so you can just apply this kind of mathematical function also. So I'm just showing you. Say suppose if you want to calculate cos, then you can simply calculate cos, that is np dot cosine of what? Of the pass array, that is x. So it will give you the cosine of the passed array, as you already know that your sine 0 is 0 but your cos 0 is 1. So that's why this kind of value is coming as your result. Okay, so your cosine is done, sine is done. Now let's move ahead. How can we reshape a created array, right? So for example, I have created an array by using a function, arrange function, as you already know. So I'm creating an array b equals to np dot arrange, and by using arrange function you have created an array of 12 numbers. That means this array will start from 0 because you have not passed any starting point, and neither you have passed any starting point nor you have passed step. So this array by default will start from 0 and will end less than 12, and every single element will come. That means step of 1 will taken. Okay, so for example, if I am going to print what b, see the result. The result is my array is started from 0 and until 12 minus 1, and by taking default step, that is 1, that is printed the 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. This array of 12 element is by default getting created. Now if you want to reshape it, b dot reshape. Okay, if you want to reshape this array into shape, just pass on the shape, that is 4 by 3. You want to just create an array of 4 by 3. So that is a 2-dimensional array. Earlier this was a 1-dimensional array, and from this 1-dimensional array you want to create a 2D array. So you can create a 2D array. Now from the provided value a 2D array is created, that is which is having 4 rows and 3 columns. So first 3 values will be your row 1, then second 3 value will be your row 2, and then third 3 value will be your row 3, and fourth 3 value will be your row 4. Okay, so likewise you have created an array of 4 rows and 3 columns. So as you can see, the result is appearing at front of you, that this is an array of how many rows? This is an array of 4 rows and 3 columns. So you can do reshaping by doing this method. If you want to create say suppose a 3D array by using it, and you can simply do it by using reshape principle. So let's do it. For example, I again want to create an array by the name c equals to np dot arrange, and I want to create an array of 24 items, and which I want to reshape, in which I want to just pass on the shape. What shape I want? I want 2 by 3 by 4. Okay, while I'm going to run this while I'm going to print c, this will give me the value. I have created a 3-dimension array. The order of this array is 3 by 4, that is 3 rows and 4 columns, and 2 matrix of 3 rows and 4 columns are created, as you can see in the result as well. This is the very first matrix, which is having 3 rows and 4 columns, and this is your second matrix, which is having 3 rows and 4 columns. Clear? Now let's move ahead to the concept. Okay, that is basic operations. As you can see in your presentation, we have discussed this sort of program, and I have mentioned some sample program which you can apply, which you can just use at your home. Now talking about basic operations on Numpy array, at what all arithmetic operations you can apply on your Numpy array. Okay, so let's start with this concept. I'm just making a comment that basic operations on Numpy array. Okay, let's move ahead. So how can we apply, what all basic operations are available? Like you just try to think. Can we add to array? Yeah, we can. Can we multiply to array? Yes, we can. Can we subtract two array from each other? Yes, we can. So these all sort of basic operations can be applied on your array. For example, let's create an array by using a and p dot arange. I'm going to print a because I have already created a so many times. So yeah, here's an array of 10 values. Okay, so what if and let's print p. I think I have also created one array by the name p as well. Yeah, b is also here. Okay, now what if I want to find out c equals to a minus b, right? So it is showing that operands could not be broadcasted together with shape 10 and 12. Yes, it is showing that there are 12 values in your second array, but only 10 values in your first array. Subtraction can take place, but the size of array should be same. So what I need to do is I have to create an array, and let's create another array by the name b, that is b equals to np dot arrange, in which I want to just create my array starting from 10 to 20, right? 10 to 20, and by the step of 2. And if I'm gonna print b, this will result me an array of 5 values. Okay, now let's create another array by the name a equals to np dot arrange, and I'm just starting this array from 1 ending to 10 by taking the step 2. Okay, and I'm gonna print this array, print a. So what you can see is this is an array of 5 elements in which the values are 1, 3, 5 and 7. So as you can see, if you are going to add 2 into it, the third 3 will come, then in 3 if you move towards 2 step, you will get 5. So this is an array of odd numbers, this is an array of even numbers so far. So let's see that basic operation can be applied over it or not. And c equals to, if I am going to apply c equals to b minus a, and if I am going to print what? Print c, then it will result me 9999. If you are going to subtract 1 from 10, you will get 9, because see, your b is 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and your c is what? your C is, your A is 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. So if you are going to subtract A from B, you will be getting this 9, 9, 9, 9 as a result. And how this 9 is coming? If you are going to subtract 10 from 1, you will get 9. If you are going to subtract 3 from 12, you will get 9. Again, if you are going to subtract 5 from 14, you will get 9, and accordingly, so on. Right? So likewise, we can apply basic operations. Say suppose if you want to calculate the exponent of if you want to calculate the power 2 of this particular array, like A array. So what you can do is the print, and what you can do is, that is print and then A asterisk asterisk. This symbol denotes power 2. So this will return me A square of each value of this array. So as you can see, the square of 1 is 1, the square of 3 is 9, the square of 5 is 25, the square of 7 is 49, the square of 9 is 81. So far so good? Okay. So moving ahead, if you want to calculate the sine value of sine, cos or tangent value, for example, if you want to calculate 10 multiply by, I'm just calculating 10th multiple of tangent value of my array, because if I'm not going to multiply it by 10, the result will come quite smaller. So I want to show you the bigger result. 10 multiply by np dot 10, and I want to just pass on what? I just want to pass on C. I want to calculate the tangent of this array C. So while I am running this, it is giving me the tangent of 9. The tangent of 9 is what? Minus 4.52, and it is coming equal. Why? Because all the values in my C array are equal to each other. So far so good? Okay. So let's move towards next. If I want to test the values of my array. Okay. For example, I have created an array by the name A, which is having values 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9, and I want to test that whether all the values of my array is less than 7. So it will give me this as a result. Yeah, Boolean results are also coming. Why? As you can see that very first value of your array A is smaller than 7, that's why it is coming true. And second value is also smaller than 7, again true. Third value is also smaller than 7, again true. But as you can see, this 7 is not less than 7, that's why it is coming false. And this 9 is also not less than 7, that's why it is coming false. So you can do Boolean condition checking on your array as well. Okay. Now I would like to show you some mathematical operation which we can apply on two-dimensional array, or you can say as the product of two matrix, or addition of two matrix, or multiplication of two matrix. So how can we do that? Okay, so let's understand. That is basic maths operation on 2D array. Okay, so let's apply basic maths operation on 2D array. Make sure, just keep in mind what does 2D array refers to. 2D array means an array which is having two dimensions, that is called as a matrix, right? So let's create an array with two dimension. So I'm creating an array by the name small a, or you can take capital A, equals to, I'm creating an array by the method np.array, and in this I'm just passing an array object. Okay, so I'm just passing an array object like 1 2 1 comma 2 and comma another array that is 3 comma 4. So likewise I have created another first two-dimensional array. Okay, then b equals to np dot array. Okay, now if you want to now onwards I'll I'll say this as a matrix. So in place of this big bracket, you can put parenthesis as well, like a small bracket as well. So it is not required that every time you put this big bracket to create a 2D array. Okay, that is 3 comma 4, then 5 comma 6. Okay, another 2D array is created. Now if I want to add both the array, then C equals to capital C equals to A plus B, and if you if you are going to print the result, that is print and your C, so the result will be coming as small c I have printed, I have to print big C, print and capital C. So it is giving you the addition of both the matrix, that if you are going to add both the matrix, the result will be same, right? So there is a method of adding both the matrix, like row wise and column wise. So it is showing you that this one will get added to 3, the result will be like 4, this 2 will get added to 4, right? The result will be 6, this 3 will get added to 5, the result will be 8, and this 4 will get added to 6, the result will be 10. Okay, if you are going to calculate that print and what b minus a, so you'll be getting 2 2 2 as a result. This is the difference of both the matrix. If you are going to subtract like 1 from 3, you will be getting 2. If you are going to subtract this 4 from 2, you will be getting 2, and so on. Okay, now if you gonna calculate the if you gonna just multiply both the matrix element wise, so element wise multiplication of matrix, so the result will be, if you're gonna do this element wise multiplication, then what you can do is, that is print A multiply by B. Oh, it is giving you another result because I have created array by the name capital A. So print capital A multiply by capital B. So this is your element wise multiplication. This 1 will multiply to 3, the result will be 3. This 4 will multiply to 8, the result, 2, 4 2 ja 8, then 3 5 ja 15, and 6 4 ja 24. But this is not the method of calculating matrix multiplication. And if you want to calculate matrix multiplication, in this what you can do is capital A at the rate capital B. This is the method of calculating matrix product. Okay, matrix product. So the result is coming as 13 16 29 36. While you are going to calculate by using this matrix multiplication method, the result will be same. And if you are going to calculate like A there is another method of calculating matrix product by using dot function. Dot, and in this what you can pass is, you can pass the array, that is b. आप किससे मल्टीप्लाई करना चाहते हैं, by which array you want to get it multiply. So this is another method of matrix product. Another method of matrix product. Okay, so the result is coming same in both the cases, right? So you can put print function and everything, it's up to you, totally up to you, right? So I hope this must be clear to you all, how to calculate matrix function and all. Now there's another concept. Let's see what is there in my array by the name C. Yeah, there is an array of all 9 values, the full 9 values by the name C. And if I want to, get it multiplied, like C equals to C multiply equals to 3. All the values of my array should get multiplied by 3. And thereafter, if I am going to print C, the result will be, because this C asterisk equal to 3 means C equals to C multiplied by 3. If I am going to print it, the result will be 27, 27, 27, 27. That means all the values of my C array will get multiplied by 3. Okay. If I am going to add something to it, like what is there in my array A, so let's check what is there in my array A. Okay, 1 3 5 7. If I am going to do like A, like C equals to C plus equals to A, and thereafter if I am going to print C, so the result will be 28, 30, 32, 34. Why? Because if you are going to add 1 into 27, you will get 28. If you are going to add 3 into 27, you will get 30, and so on. Okay, so far so good. Now let's move ahead. So we have applied this addition, multiplication and all. So let's understand, if we want to find out the exponential form of the given array. So say suppose if I want to find out the exponential form of my array C, which is right now 28, 30, 32, 34, 36. If I want to find out the exponential form, so what I can do is, that is D, I'm creating my array by the name D equals to np dot exp exponential form. And how this exponential form should get calculated, in which what I am going to do, I am going to pass on my array C, and it should get multiplied by 1j, that is your imaginary number. And while you will be printing D, you will be getting what as a value, an imaginary number of your array is created. So this first the exponent of this is created, then thereafter it is getting multiplied with 1j. So by using this exponential function, what you have done is, you have created an array of exponent, like an array of complex number by using real number. Okay, so far so good. So if you want to calculate, if you want to see the data type, that is D dot type dot name. So what you will be getting, that the data type, right. If you want to see dot D type, I have made one mistake. It's not type, it should be D type. D type, data type of And what is the name of each data? It's complex 128, because each complex number takes 128 bit space in your computer memory. Okay, right? So we have applied all unary operations. Now let's apply some interesting functions which we were very much eager to apply, right? So I am creating an array of random values. Okay, so I'm creating an array by the name a equals to an array of random values, right? An array of random values I'm creating over here by the name a equals to, it is rg dot random, and all the values, an array of 2 by 3 should get created. So as it is showing you that RG is not defined, so I am creating it by using np method. Sorry, I have to use np a equals to np dot random by using random method, and I am just creating an array of 2 by 3. So while I'll be printing a, so see, an array of 2 rows and 3 columns are created in which random values are taken. Any random values are taken. Now what I can do is, if I want to calculate the sum of my array, so sum of all these values, what I can do is a dot sum function. There is a function by the name sum function. The sum of all the values are this. If I want to find out what is the minimum value in this array, so what I can do is a dot min function. So it is returning me what is the minimum value in my array, and the minimum value in my array is this. If I want to find out the maximum value, a dot max function I can use over here. It is returning me what is the maximum value in my array. Now if I want to calculate, I want to just create a simple array a equals to np dot a range, and I want to create an array starting from 1 to 10. Okay, not starting from like of 10 element, don't write this one, starting from 1 and going till 11. So this will create an array starting from 1 to 10, right? And while I am going to print it, print a, so this is an array starting from 1 2 3 4 5 6 and going till 10. If you want to calculate the mean of all the values, so what you can do is np dot mean function. So yeah, mean function, I need to just give a check to the mean function, right? For applying mean function, it require that I need to import a library or something like that. Sorry, I have passed np dot mean. It should be a dot mean. If it is a dot mean, yeah, it is just giving me the mean of all the values. This is starting from 1 to 10. Likewise, you can calculate the mode a dot median, MEDIAN, median of what is the median. Likewise, you can calculate the median, and what is the spelling MEDIAN. a dot med. So it may be like this. So let me check. I'll come back to you by bringing this concept. A dot mood. I'm applying this mood as well. Yeah, mood is also not working. I need to do a check on it. So mean you can calculate simply by just calculating by just uh, passing the array name. So it is returning you the mean value of the passed array. If you are going to calculate the average of this particular array, you will be getting 5.5 as the result, right? So far so good. So let's move ahead to this. Let's create. Now this time I'm going to calculate the sum of my two-dimensional array axis wise. Okay. Now what does it mean? Corresponding to each axis, your sum will get calculated. How your sum will get calculated? Let's understand. I've created an array by the name b equals to, I'm applying the function np.arange, and in this I'm just passing the value 12, and the array whatever will come as a result I'm reshaping it, reshape, and I'm just passing the number of rows and columns. Okay, so print b. Now my array is created, and my array is having values 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and 11. If I want to calculate the sum of my array corresponding to axis 0, and which one is your axis 0, row wise or column wise? Yeah, your column wise. Okay, so a dot sum, and then what, axis equals to 0. Okay, and if you want to change the data type, d type, if you want to change the data type of your values, that my value should get presented in the not integer, actually float. By default it is integer, floating type. So see the result. So corresponding to your axis, not, sorry, I made a mistake because I have created the array by the name b, but I have just find out the sum a. So let's do it again. B dot sum, and corresponding to this axis equals to 0, where d type equals to float. Okay, see the result. Now this is the sum of your array corresponding to each axis, corresponding to your axis 0. So this is your axis 0, this 0 4 8, value will be adding 0 4 8, will be getting 12, value will be adding 1 5 9, you will be getting 15, value will be adding 2 6 10, you will be getting 18, value will be getting adding 7 3 and 11, you will be getting 21. So this is the result when you have calculated the sum of your array corresponding to axis 0. And if you gonna calculate the sum of your array corresponding to axis 1, and the data type by default it is integer, don't want to apply any data type, don't apply. So the corresponding to axis 1, the result will be the 6 22 and 38. So if you are going to add 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, this is because this is your axis 1, your row wise is your axis 1 and your column wise is your axis 0. So while you will be adding 0 1 2 and 3, the result will be 6 4 5 6 and 7, result will be 22, 4 8 9 10 and 11, result will be 38. So likewise you can get the sum of your array, right, sum of your array. Now if you want to calculate the cumulative sum, now what does cumulative sum refers to? Cumulative sum of your array corresponding to each axis you can calculate. And what does cumulative sum means? If you're gonna calculate the cumulative sum of this particular array corresponding to this axis 1 will be 0, then 0 plus 1 1, then 1 plus 2, here 3 will come, then 2 plus 3, 5 will come, likewise, right? It will likewise you can calculate the cumulative sum. So how can you, let's calculate the cumulative sum. B dot cumulative sum of the given array, right? So just to calculate the cumulative sum, pass on the axis equals to, if you want to calculate the cumulative sum corresponding to axis 0, so you can calculate it, and here your cumulative sum of the array is coming out, starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, and accordingly 4, 6, 8, and 10, and 12, 15, 18, and 21, right? So I hope this must be clear to you all. So let's move ahead. Now if you gonna calculate the cumulative sum of the same array with respect to axis 1, then the result will be this. As you can see, the cumulative sum of this array with respect to axis 1 is coming as like this. So starting 0, then 1, then 3, and why it is 3? Because 0, then 1, and 2 plus 1, 3, because 0 plus 1, 1, 2 plus 1, 3, 3, and then thereafter accordingly, right? Like 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6, then accordingly for this row first value will be 4, then accordingly with respect to your axis 1, 4, and then how it is coming 9 means it is coming 9 because right, it is like 3 plus 5 plus 3, 5 plus 3 plus 1, then 9, it is like this. So it is giving you the cumulative sum. So let's understand some universal function. How can you calculate the square root of the array? I mean, how can you just find out the exponent of provided array? Let's create an array by the name a equals to np dot arrange and pass on array name, like say let's pass 5, an array of 5 random value, I mean 5 continuous values are created starting from 0 and will go till less than 5. And then if I want to calculate the exponent, then the function available to me is np.exp, and in this you can pass on your array name. So this is the exponential equivalent of each value. The exponential equivalent of 0 is 1, then exponential equivalent of 1 is this 2.7.718, something like that. So if you want to calculate the square root, then what you can do is np.sqrt of a. If you want to calculate the square root of a, then you can calculate the square root, and the square root result will be this, because the square root of 0 will be 0, the square root of 1 will be 1, the square root of 2 will be 1.41. As you remember, some mathematics, the square root of 3 will be 1.7320, and so on. The square root of 4 will be, of course, 2. So you can calculate a square root, and if you want to create if you want to add any two array, for example, there is an array, one dimension array I want to see. For this I need to just print. So yeah, here we have. If I want to add my array, so what I can do is dot add function is also here. Instead of plus, what you can do is just add b, like just add what a with c. So earlier your a was having 0 1 2 3 4 and your c was having 28 30 32 34 and 36. You will be adding, your value will be 28, then 30 plus 1 31, 32 plus 2 34, 37 and 40. Now if you gonna print a, so as you can see your addition can take place in this way by using the add function. Okay, now let's come to the important topic of indexing and slicing and iterating. Before moving ahead, I would like to end up with this video here, because this indexing, right, because the video will go too long. So in very next class or in very next this universal function we have applied, this indexing, slicing and iterating we'll be discussing in next video. Okay, so stay tuned for that video. Okay, thank you so much and have a great day ahead.